Hello, hello. My name is Dr. Branko Tama, and coming live to you today from studio. Actually, coming live just from my home and bringing you this edition of the Bridge called Civility Initiative. And as you know, today, for some of you out there, we had the topic that was just up to my mind, and I've been trying to read about it. I don't know how many of you know about this, but the book, The Bridge called Civility, is already available on Amazon online, and you can have this book in a paperback, or you can get this, as an ebook. And I'm going to be reading today based on this topic I put on. I'm going to be speaking directly to you based on my concept and philosophy from this book. And hopefully, this will, bring you a lot more insight. But for those of you joining up, I will just wait a little bit while I play a little music in the background until we wait for a few people to join in. I don't know where you are in life today, but I tell you, I have been in a situation wherein I felt that there was no way out and no way to get things going. It was crazy, I tell you. But I tell you here, life in itself has so much more to offer. And I say we have Joyce that is watching live right now. So thank you, Joyce. I know we have two people watching right now. We had Joyce is watching. Thank you, Joyce, for always joining. Welcome to this edition of the Bridge called Civility Initiative. And for those of you out there who don't know, my name is Dr. Branko Tama, the founder and CEO of Tama Foundation, and also the owner of Tama and Son Construction. So happy Sunday, folks. Welcome to this edition of the Bridge called Civility Initiative. I know it's been a while here. I just want to bring you greetings from my family, friends, and hope you had a great time in service today. Well, I can tell you, I did. In fact, it was such a great message. And I think, as some of you are aware, a few times I've been out of the country, traveling, and it was kind of a necessary break. I wanted to take off to have some time now that we're getting into the construction season. So for those of you who will be watching later, the time here, Central Time, is 5:34. So in like 2 more minutes, I will be starting up today on the topic, finding your purpose in the midst of distraction and controversy. Many a time, controversy and distraction can be some of those things that keep us away from finding our purpose. But the question is, life sometimes gives us what it takes, and we got to take what life gave us and make the best use of it. I have a friend that say, when life gave you lemon, make lemonade. I think we all have our own story. We have Joyce Marty here, also coming live. And I see you asking about the trip to Canada. Yes, the trip to Canada was great. It was one of those moments wherein I had to connect with my past. I have a mentor, common boss for the UN, and he was such a great man, Joyce. So just having the time to spend time with his family was such a great thing. It was a wonderful one. I can tell you for sure the weather wasn't any better than Minnesota, though. All right, we have Spencer Kai that's watching from Liberia. Spencer Kai, oh, Spencer used to be my classmate. Welcome to the Bridge Call Civility Initiative, Spencer. And for those watching from Liberia and those who'll be watching later, I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. As you log in here, please just keep giving the notification of where you're watching from. Just for FYI too, I really appreciate. I know we have the Bridge Call Civility Initiative. You see on the screen. It's also on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, so I appreciate if people can just subscribe to those channels on YouTube. Once again, it's me, Branko here. We almost have 10 minutes into the introduction. But as I said, the topic for today is finding your purpose in the mix. Of controversial. You may have different situations. Thanks, Joy. We had a great time. We all may have different situations, but I tell you what, one thing that matters is how you deal with it. I do believe and always believe that you can do it. I can do it. Again, I want to just mention here my book is out called The Bridge Call Civility Initiative Volume 1. And this topic I talk about in the book is building the new capacity. We have to evolve as we grow, or more to that as we learn. We have to be able to get to that point to understand that we need to make a difference. And we have Melvin Kamara. And I have my son Melvin Kamara that is also watching. Thanks, Melvin. He's a man with a great heart, and also he rather go at soccer. Many times we go on the field. He does better than me, but I love that he has a passion, and I just hope that every youth, find a purpose in life, but also be disciplined as they do it. All right, as we dive into this topic today, finding your purpose. It's important because many a time, if you don't find your purpose, temporary situation will become permanent. And never let temporary situation dictate your life and become permanent. And I always tell people, it depends on what kind of life you want. I have chosen to live a life of purpose. Now I'll be going into this segment. So we say welcome to the Bridge Call Civility Initiative. I think it's like almost 10 minutes into here right now. I'm just gonna go right in. Hi, my name is Dr. Branko Tama, and this is the series of the Bridge Call Civility Initiative. And the topic today is finding your purpose. And I tell you, many a time we may not understand that we were created by the image of God, and God, when He created us, knew that we were created to make an impact into the world. I don't know where you are in life today, but today is Sunday. I want you to reflect on this and think about it. Have you ever got to that point and realized, like, why is all this thing happening to me? What is this thing happening? So much pain, so much, issue. But I tell you, those things are meant to be able to build you up, strengthen you. It's meant to be a life lesson and not to break you. But many a time we get stuck into those temporary positions and we forget to know that we have a God who is divine, in all ways. He knows everything. And I also have one of my mentor here and former professor here, Honorable Matthew Z. Dablo from Monrovia, Liberia. So welcome, Honorable Dablo, and thanks for joining today. And people don't understand sometimes how, Branko, did you do all these things? You went through this thing. I always tell people, what have helped me do what I do came from a point that I knew I was raised out with a value system. And I believe no matter what I go, no matter what the situation is, I was not going to let anything to take that away from me. While it is true it's important to find your purpose, many a time we forgot. To give you a short story, prior to coming to the US, I worked for the UN for some of you who know. And when I relocated to the United States, I wanted a better life for my family. And I've always had a passion for construction, and I was doing that back home. I had a construction business back home. But coming to the US was kind of a new territory. It was a shock in so many ways, not just by the weather. But I tell you, what have helped me is staying focused and finding my purpose. Whatever you do in life, it is important that you stay true to yourself, know your value in life, and stay focused. Because not many of you honestly may know, but life can be interesting. And in one of my quotes that I mentioned, I said to be born is a blessing, but to live, it takes courage, hard work, strength, and persevering, faith. And I've shared with some of my colleagues and tell people like, being a miracle is one thing, but what you do, what you hear is another thing. It's the same way of being born. Always ask God if you don't know what the purpose is, because I tell you, you were created for the purpose in life to make a difference in this world. Let nobody tell you you cannot do this, because I've been through it. And just to acknowledge, some people that are joining also, I have Akwe Thomas Tadawayan. He in Liberia also. That's a great man. And then we have Ambassador, we have Vama Sandi. I know he between Lofa County and Morovia, but I want to thank all of you again, once again, for joining. We have Melvin, we have Honorable Dablo, we have Joyce, and many more who will also be watching later. We say, welcome to the Bridge Call Civility Initiative. And as I was saying, you got to keep focused on the good, because many a time the bar is a distraction to get you away for the plan that God has for you. I have been through a lot, but I tell people, I don't do it on the negative. I don't do it on the pain. The fact that I've molded my mind in a way that the pain is used as a challenge, that have helped me overcome things in a fewer time than it should be. Sometimes people ask me, why are you feeling that way? So in the process of finding your purpose, there are a few things that you need to understand. Number one, you got to know who you are. Because when you know who you are, you will know what your value system is, and you will know your own worth. The next thing, you got to know what you want. Many a time I've seen people, you ask them, oh, what you want to do? What's your career? Oh, I don't know. I've had a lot of these experiences mentoring students and prospective students. and they will say they don't even know what they want to do. And I try most of the time to help them dig deep into themselves to see what they already have. Because I tell you, God has given every one of us the gift, talent, skills, and it's not limited to one thing. Never limit yourself, and whatever you do, give it your best, and never let temporary situation to become permanent for you. That's one of the way. If you have to find your purpose in life, you have to understand there will be some temporary situation, there will be some temporary time. Those are just meant to get you through the process of taking you where God wants you to go. And this is why I came out with this series, The Bridge Call. So life is like so many bridges that you have to go through. I've had a lot of people who have made an impact in my life, who have been that bridge that have get me to what I am today. The number two thing I will mention also in finding your purpose, in addition to knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and knowing what, how you're going to get it, is many a time we break bridges before we even get to our destiny. And when I say this, it's something after my heart because I've seen a lot of people, a lot of Liberians, sometimes people who have been there for them in whatever way, once they get to that point of relevance, they forget to even know their roots and who all have been there. And that's a mistake. And that was one of the things that came out to me. I came out with the philosophy, the bridge called civility. And I came from a point of engineering perspective because when you look at every city around the world, there are bridges that connect those cities. Do you know that going to a city is not just one bridge that can take you to so many destinations? There are so many different bridges that take you. And that's the truth. And that is the truth about life. Life leads to destiny. Well, guess what? We need bridges to take us. And bridges are people. And I just mentioned, some of the challenges and stuff. Yes. And as you go, some of those things, it's not meant to keep you down. You first have to see this as an opportunity I've been giving you to test you, but also prove yourself. And each of those breaches, it is important. I tell you what, every breach in your life, for those of you watching and those who will be watching later, you begin to reflect. There have been people in your life who have impacted your life. Like tonight, I had the honor and privilege having Honorable Matthew Zadablo on the live screen tonight. You were one of those. He used to be the principal from CS Dewey and going to school sometime. Oh, if you come late, I mean, he's gonna whip you. He will be out there making sure. He's a disciplinarian. By the time people used to see her being cruel in a way, but I can tell you, I'm glad I have all of the discipline because today you have helped me to stay focused. But most importantly, when I compare to what we see today in this generation, education is losing its value in so many ways. It's all about the money. You used to find those days, even for students not present in class, made class, I mean, you have an instructor trying to follow up, but more important, trying to check with the parent or trying to go to their home to know if they are okay, there's problem. And Honorable Dablo, one of those principal, I mean, if you miss class or something, you're not there, he coming straight to your home and find your place and find you and know what's going on. So in that way, it was almost like nowhere to hide because we can't have from our parents and say not going to school and not do that. He's gonna come over there, and if he find you, there's gonna be some consequences for that. But as we look into the society today, there's so much going on, and the distraction now from technology to politics to everything. And when I sit down sometime and think and see what is going on in Liberia, even in Edu Camp, I wonder the university or colleges should be an area for education. Shouldn't be a place for a political ground. Some would disagree with me. You can study politics, it's not a wrong thing. But I can tell you what, I've been in the country as long as it is right now. I've never seen on campuses wherein they have politics going on to the point that they have to disrupt classes for other people. And guess what? It's just like you are killing your own destiny. When I was in Liberia prior to coming to the US, I was in the LU. I've seen people who have spent more than 5 years before even me getting there that still was going to school, did not even graduate. And when I went in LU, even to the civil engineering department, guess what? I already had a business running. I had a business in that country even when I was even a high school student. When I went out there, I have graduating seniors and other people I used to take on my construction site, even as a freshman. So you see, I tell people, if the youth, the young people of Liberia can focus more about building their capacity, becoming entrepreneurial, and coming together, collaborating to be able to make use of the skills and talent that they got, all them being used as political pawns, there will be a lot more success that you'll find. But I tell people, you can talk on government all day, and I tell people sometimes I mention, I'm like, listen, we all have a responsibility as people, as government, and everything. I have a friend right now, he's a general in the Nigerian army. In fact, he always used to tell me one thing. He always used to tell me, listen, forget the government. If you want to succeed in life, you have to take it as your mission, and you have to go for it. And for those who know, the Igbo men back home in Nigeria, those are people who really strive for the best. And sometimes he used to call me and say, oh, no, you're not a Liberian, you're an Igbo man because your drive is just so different. Just like the Igbo man, you're thinking about business, you're thinking about this. Your mind is all focused about all the other things, trying to improve. If you have to find your purpose in life, you have to have that kind of a mindset that every minute, every time of your time, of your life is valuable. You don't just give it out. Never allow yourself to be used as a political pawn just for politics. At the end of the day, you will be left alone. And what is your future? I never say government job or in Liberia, and I always never will. And I always tell people, Liberians are smart people. But I want to speak today to the youth also, because it's something off of my heart. When I see what's going on during political time, people hurting one another, going after one another. With the bridge called Civility Initiative, we want to be able to build bridges. You can disagree, but be able to understand that what can we do to make this work? And with my initiative, I just focus on the good that is in this war. And if we all can just focus on the good that we have to contribute toward this war, we will not start hurting, we will not even hurt people. At the age of 5, up to today, I remember, killing a little chick. And today, it still lives in my mind that I killed a little chick. And my mom told me, see what you've done. You killed this thing, and you killed the chicken. The baby, chicken, you killed it. And that thing still ring into my mind up to now. I can never forget that. Because it's a value. You have to treat people nice. You got to be nice to people, even if they disagree with you. But I urge you today, as you work toward finding your purpose, while you adapt to the distraction, I also want you to understand that you have to learn to be a bridge builder. Because the bridge you build is not just good for you, but it might be people who might come down the road to work on that bridge. What kind of legacy that you want to leave for yourself? In order to find your purpose, you have to be willing to be a bridge builder. And it's important because after you know who you are, you know what you want, and you know how to get it, and especially getting it the right way, the next thing you got to understand here, do you know that we all were created with a purpose? Well, guess what? That purpose has a responsibility that we have to give back. And that's what I do here. And one of the good news I want to share with you today also is about the Tama Foundation. After having a construction company, I've seen things going on, and I always have the passion to be able to, do this nonprofit because this is something dear to my heart. Because guess what? I came up in a parent wherein my dad is the one that thinks about the business. My mom is a philanthropic. She loved to do charity work. So the Tama Foundation is actually in honor of my mom, whereas Tama and Son Construction, the business side, is in honor of my dad. And I just bless God for the opportunity that He gave me to be able to make this happen. And I'm asking all of you out there, kids, parents, try to lay out the foundation and dream for your kids that they can work on. And kids, trying to understand the sacrifices that a parent have made for you to be able to help them. If you have to find your purpose in life, you just don't have to learn how to build bridges, but you also have to learn how to give back. And that's why we established Tama and Son Foundation. And I can officially say here today that Tama and Son Foundation has officially been certified as a nonprofit 501c organization in the United States of America. And I'm so grateful and honored. I can say it again for those of you watching online. The Tama Foundation, as you can tell, the logo is on the screen, on the right side of the screen there, is officially certified as a 501c nonprofit organization in the United States. And that is huge because in order to make this dream a reality, I also need other people who can be able to pull and help support this vision. I know it came from my mom, came from my dad. I'm just one of those that's trying to realize and make this happen. But we need people. So soon or later, we'll be having official launch. We'll be having other things coming up. I'll keep you guys posted. But just to tell you, in order to find your purpose, as you discover who you are, what you want, and learn how to get it, the next thing is to learn how to build bridges. Because after you know who you are, you know what you want and learn, you already got to that point, never ever forget where you came from. It's key. Many a time we forget to know where we came from, and sometimes we just want to be we don't want to be identified by it. But I tell you, God did not make any mistake. God created us with a purpose to impact this world. If for any reason you have issue, you don't realize that, let me know. We can talk about it. Well, I can tell you my story. If God can do it for me, He can do it for anybody. So as I mentioned, if you are to find your purpose in life, after knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and know how to get it, and you also start building bridges, going back to all those who are impact your life, and never lost track of them, because I tell you it's important. My own story, I can attest to it. Today, I try as much as possible to keep people who I know in my life from my days coming up, to always keep them close because it's important. Today, I can take a phone call and just take a phone and make a phone call in Liberia and talk to somebody, and before you know it, they get things done for me because I try to keep those relationships, those contacts. In many parts of the world today, I just take a phone call and call. So as you find your purpose in life, you got to understand you have a responsibility to give back. God created us with the purpose of giving back. Everybody will not be fortunate to be like us. But hey, guys, I can tell you, God has been very faithful to me. To be in this country and live in the American dream, it has to be God. And teach that to your kids, Let them find the purpose. They always ask, people about it. Today, I'm an author. I have a business going. I have a foundation that have been officially certified as a nonprofit organization to function throughout in the United States. That's a huge thing. All the details will be coming up, and we have other partners we're working with, Uniting Distance Stars, and even we'll be partnering also with the college and just many other organizations that we'll start bringing on. The goal is to help create resources that will help support our partner organizations. So for those of you out there watching online and those who will be watching later, stay tuned. But as I leave you today, I get 5 more minutes here. I just want to leave you with this. Who are you? What do you want? Do you know how to get it? If you can answer all the questions, then the next thing I would say is, do you know that you have a responsibility to give back? And with the Bridge Called Civility Initiative, we bring out all of these discussion and topic to be able to help. Many a time we get caught up into temporary situation and feel complacent. But do you know that God's purpose for our life is not just to get for ourselves, get the house, the horse, and everything, and that's it? We were meant to produce fruit. Every leader or any great leader will not just lead from a point of control, but will lead from a point of impacting others to be able to help them develop even better. We also want to welcome Heather, one of the co-founder for Uniting Distance Style, who just joined us. But as I said here, many more good news will be coming with Tama Foundation. But I just want to hop on here to encourage you. Wherever you are in your life at this point, what situation, never let temporary situation become permanent. Because the true intention for those things was meant to be temporary. Work towards setting goals. Just be you. We see today many people try to be something else, and you can never be someone else and go on. It will be exposed. But as I leave you today in a few minutes here, I want to say thanks all those who've been watching and those in Liberia. I know it's been a while. I just want to come up here today and give you some quick updates. The website will be coming up, and we'll have time wherein we'll work with some of our partner UDS and other organizations to see if we can come up hopefully next year or sometime and have an official launch date. But once the website is done, we'll have all of this thing out there. And the goal is to also create resources that will help our partner organization to also function effectively. So for those of you who will be watching later and those who are watching now, just always know that we all have a responsibility to give back. And as you give back, you're going to reward. You will be rewarded greatly. Before I leave, I want to read you something, just give you a little sneak peek into my book here. And just to read you today, few chapters that I have. It was interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I had somebody from Ghana who called me. Actually, somebody from here that went on and called me. And they told me, "Oh, Branko, I can't believe, it's somewhere in the morning here. I was just reading, and then I just went through your book, reading through your book, and went through, chapter 5. It was just so amazing. And, that meant so much to me to have people giving feedback. So, for those of you who have purchased the book already, The Bridge Called Civility Initiative on Amazon, whenever you feel free, you have some questions, or you need some things, you just need to get a little bit of insight, feel free to check with me. And I have the introduction. For those of you who haven't seen that, we have the philosophy of the bridge call. Is where I talk about, how this came about and what you need to know about the philosophy of the bridge call. We have chapter 2, challenging the mindset. And we have to, because I came from a country wherein people sometimes look at things differently. It's shocking to say, but I've had some youth or people in Liberia who just believe that, you can never get into public office and leave from there and become a poor person. So at the end of the day, they promote system, a culture that help leaders to even steal and disenfranchise the citizen. But when you have a mindset that understand what it means to be a leader, you will lead from the heart. And when you lead from the heart, you will impact people and you will make a difference. Leadership is not about control. The mindset also is to help us process things in different ways, make us to think outside the box. I can tell you, I am what I am today based on the mindset and God giving me the opportunity to be able to do that. In chapter 3, we talk about teaching and learning the process of the new capacity. So the reason I said building a new capacity was about, listen, guys, we've done this, we've done that. We are saying so many times in Africa, we're in, I tell people there are two type of perspective, right? There are people perspective and there are also expert perspective. We have seen in that country, we have a lot of experts come from all over the world and decide to do things. Oh, this is what the people want. This is what the people want. But with the breach called civility, no, we believe that you have to listen to the people and then you know exactly, they tell you what they want. For example, of a expert perspective, they will come up and put a role in an area totally that people have no idea. The people are accustomed to using another side of the role. But if they are going and ask the people, what do you want the role? They were getting a better place to put it. But when they put that there at the end of the day, guess what? The people don't even use it. So many a time I tell people when you want to impact life, you don't have to be an expert. All you have to do listen to the people and listen to the needs. And then you can be able to impact. Because that way when you impact people, you make a difference in their life. You want to meet people at where they are, not for where you think they should be. In chapter number 4, I have empowerment of the hands, mind, and not just the head. This is important because many a time, people think that, oh, if I don't go to college or if I don't do this, that means I can never be successful. I can never do that. But guess what? I got a news for you. Do you know that many of the great people who have made a lot of great things, done a lot of great things in this world, are not necessarily the people with the higher education? Education is not just classroom. And I hope that youth and people, in Liberia can be able to understand. I have seen people spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in LU trying to get through the system. And some of them, they don't even make it through the graduation. They die even before they graduate. It's sad. And I do believe that you don't need to be out of college or something before you can find your potential or live your God-given potential. It's inside of you. You have to find it. And I'm blessed that God gave me the opportunity to be able to find that. In high school, right after high school, our high school students started working on the business and had a construction company that was established in Liberia. And they have people with a lot of skills. They are even doing better when you look at people who just go to the college and get a degree. You realize, like, what is this person even doing? But because the system called you have to have the degree, and because of the kind of system, they limit people from even diving into their God-given potential. I have seen a lot of skillful people. Like Heather, one of our partner organizations, she mentioned Kevin, one of the co-hosts for UDS. The guy is skillful. He's in LU and they are giving a run. And I'm like, if only even professors can see what the guy is doing with the organization. He can take an engine and turn it upside down and turn it all around and do it. But more to that, he get a lot of other skill, leadership skill and thing. But guess what? Edu does not tap into the system, or the system does not tap into the potential that people has. Today you find in Western world, when people see your talent, they tap into that and use that to be able to develop. But rather, we have a system that all about control that People pass around, oh yeah, I'm a BSc holder, I'm a data degree holder, I'm a this holder, master degree holder. Unemployed master degree holder, when you can have a high school student becoming a CEO and running a business. It's about time that we have a mindset that allow us to think for ourselves and better our life. So when I mention empowerment of the hands, the mind, and not just the head, you can learn all the book you want, you be smart at all you can in classroom. But when you get in the world, that's a different field of play. You have to be street smart. You have to use talent. You have to use skills. It's not all about the classroom. Many a time people say only that. No. And I'm telling you, use your hand. Be creative. Learn outside of the system. Never limit yourself to just being that system and system and system. No. Today I am where I am. I use my hand, not just my head. I have a successful business that is running. I have a nonprofit that will be kicking up. And I'm involved with different initiatives. And we have number 5, security that establishes stability, strength, and peace. It's important that we do that. Number 6, we have innovation that builds for future generation. And I will stop to 6 here today, and then we'll continue another time. But we'll talk about innovation. Number 6 is one thing that is lacking, especially in developing country. I would say Liberia, because that's where I'm from. If only students at university campus and think in colleges, high schools, if the system can promote innovation, through which you allow people come in with the natural skills, with their born skill, their talents. And I'm telling you, a lot of great things that you find happening in Liberia. Kevin is not just the only one. We have a lot of people with potential. My dad did not go to college. From high school, BWI, and that was, I can tell you today, when people looking for a plumber, he's one of the, not just a master plumber, but I can tell you, he's one of the best plumber they have in the entire country. Guys, as we conclude this segment of the Bridge Called Civility Initiative, it is my hope that we will keep focused, keep driven by our passion, our desire, and our skills and talent that God have given us, and use it for the good of impacting the world and helping humanity. I don't know about you, but there are some point in life when you do money, even though you're running business and making money, I get to realize life is not just all about making the money and getting this, going that. It's about impacting and making a difference in the lives of others. One of the best thing that you can ever do, according to, one of my favorite, actor called Denzel Washington, one of his quotes that I really love somewhere and always resonate with me. He said the most selfish thing that we can ever do is to help someone. And when I look today and see what's happening, seeing Heather what she involved with Uniting Distance Style, and sometimes I tell her that she had no reason doing it. She's not even from Liberia. But she saw the need, and she saw the skill and talent of young people, and she saw the need to be able to give them a chance to be able to do something with the vocational and education thing she's doing there. That's why I thought to partner, and make a difference. If anybody feel led to know more about, our partner organization, please feel free to contact me. I will share the information. But I'll tell you here, as I share these few topics in my book, it's important that we deep into that. How about we talk innovation, skills, and talent? We have them in Liberia. So guys, I just want to thank you for listening today. I'm telling you, I can go on and on and on, but I just want to say thank you for listening. And I just pray that, as you keep dreaming, Always know that God has a purpose for your life. Every misfortune or situation that happen might be a distraction, but I tell you, never let those temporary situations limit you from fulfilling your God-given purpose. I can tell you here, I'm a living testimony. I'm so blessed to be what I am today. I have been through war. I almost got killed in a war. I've been through a lot. Even today, I'm living with my childhood memory. But guess what? That didn't stop me from doing what I'm doing today. I still keep pushing through because I realize being alive was for the greater purpose, not just for me, but to make an impact and a difference in this world. Let's be creative, guys. Whatever you do, if you need to find your purpose in life, you have to have a new mindset. Life is an ongoing, developing, never ending process. We learn, we make mistakes, but I always tell people, mistake is not always bad, or failure is not always bad. It's just meant to tell you that you didn't get this right, do it this way. We learn in those things. The way you treat failure or mistakes will determine your level of maturity. For those of you who know, look at level up today. Do you know that almost, if I'm right, 99 time or something, Thomas Edison tried, he didn't get it right. 98 time, the 99 time was when he got it right. Today we have light everywhere. Persistent. And he was not deterred by the shortcoming, the failures. Let innovation, creativities be driven by the initiative that we do. Let's adapt to the ever-changing world that we have. And hey guys, let's just be nice to people. Let's go back to those days when you just used to walk down to your neighbor, you see them struggling, you don't even need to ask, go and give them a help. The educational system that was set up in a way that they want to make sure that students succeed and not just about having money from students and then they go on to the next one, but ensuring that when students even graduate, they are successful before they even graduate. Let's not get carried away by what we see. Let's be our brother's keeper. Like I always say, every destiny requires a breach to fulfill a purpose and an equal responsibility to give back. As we go today, let us reflect on this thing. If we have to find our purpose in life and find our true path, let us not let those temporary situations hold us back and make us feel complacent. Complacency another way. God has a greater purpose for you. If we can have people doing it, even me, that means you can do it. God has been faithful. Most of the things that I've achieved in my life, I tell you, I pray about it, I work hard, and God has blessed me and given me the mindset to know that I can make it happen. As you reflect on this day, may you find peace in what you do. May God help you to find your true purpose in life. May He guard and protect you and your family. May His blessings flow upon you. Everything that you put your hand on to do, may He bless it. Even as you go out and coming in, may He bless that. As He said in the book of Deuteronomy 29:28. He will bless you in the city, He will bless you coming in and going out. And I pray that may you experience the joy and gift of what I experienced today. The peace. When I imagine 2002 walking into here, I could not even be accepted into construction, to get a construction job. But today, I have the chance to create employment for other families. God has been great. Skills is key. Whatever you do, we need young generations to start finding to skills, creativities, and innovation. Let's try to catch up with the rest of the world. Let not our life be bound by political loyalty, but I pray that God will help us to deep into ourselves, that we will find true purpose in our life. Hey guys, this is all from me in here. I know it's been a while, but I just want to say thank you all for watching live today, and those who will be watching later. I just want to bless you for everything. I'm telling you, God has been great. As you all listen to the great news, it will be coming out soon. The Tama Foundation has been officially certified as a nonprofit 501c status. We'll be coming, more with you as time go by. One website is done with the launch and other thing. But thank you for watching today, and you have a blessed day. May God bless you. Thank you so much. Bye.